Hello designers, it's Riri the brand here. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we're going to be drafting a tailored pant on my screen. You're going to be needing your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your crotch, your thigh, and your length measurement, right? I'm going to be marking my baseline. So now, having done this, I'm going to set this aside. Now, whatever band length you're going to be using, you're going to be incorporating that on this measurement before you start. If you want yours to be 2 inches or 1 inches, this is when you're going to be observing it, right? So I want mine to be 1.5 inches by the time I'm done sewing it. So I'm going to place this 1.5, starting from my baseline here, my waist to my hip, which is 9 inches. Make sure to measure yours to be accurate. So I'm going to square this in 3 places or 2 places to get a straight line, so I can go ahead to mark my crotch line. So for a crotch line, you can divide your waist by 4 and then add 1 inches or 1.5 inches. So for me, mine is my waist divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches. I want to have ease on my crotch. I don't want it to be tight on me. So that's why I'm adding the 1.5. You can go ahead to add your 1 inches. So like I said, divide your waist by 4 and add 1 inches to 1.5 inches. For me, I'm adding 1.5 inches. So observing your band 2, I'm going to mark 11.2 inches, which is going to serve as my crotch line. So I'm going to square it out as well. So now I'm going to mark my length, which is 17 inches. So from here, I'm going to be marking my 17 inches, which is here. And make sure to add your folding allowance, okay? I'm going to be adding 2 inches for my folding allowance. I even think the 17 is long for me, but however length you want yours to be, make sure to observe that, okay? I'm going to add 2 inches for my folding. And I'll roll it out. So now I'm done with the front vertical measurement, right? So now we're going to be placing the horizontal. Starting from my hip here, I'm going to be marking my hip divided by 4. So because I don't want it to be tight on my skin, I'm going to be adding half an inch to my measurement. So my hip divided by 4, which is 39 divided by 4, 9.75. So I'm going to be marking the 9.75 here. And then I will remember to also add half an inch. Like I say, because I do not want mine to be very fitted, so that is the reason why I'm adding half an inch on my measurement, okay? You want yours to be fitted, just go ahead to use your hip measurement. Mine is 10.2. I'm going to mark the accurate line like so, and then I'm going to carry that 10.2 down to my crotch line. I'm just going to carry it to my waistline here also, right? I'm going to square out these 3 lines. And now that I'm done doing this here, on my crotch line, I'm going to be marking my thigh line, right? So my thigh is 24 divided by 2, that is 12 inches. I'm going to, first of all, acknowledge that 12 inches, which is here, right? And I'm going to also add half an inch. So now at the end of the day, this is 12.5, right? Okay, I'm going to leave that at 12.5 now. This is my thigh measurement, remember, but then to observe my crotch measurement, I'm going to be dividing my hip divided by 4. My hip divided by 4 is 9.75. So now I'm going to divide that 9.75 by 4, 2.4, right? So now I'm going to come here and mark 2.4 to make sure it corresponds. Or I'm just going to leave it at 2.5, which is here. You see? So it means that my thigh is accounted for. That is, my thigh measurement is also accounted for. Meanwhile, I have a little allowance, which shows that this will sit properly on my crotch. You see, that is perfect, right? So now, having gotten that, I'm going to be going in like so. Just so this is not too deep, I'm just going to be coming out here by half an inch. It's not necessary, but if you want to do that, you can as well do that. I just don't want that to have so much depth. That is why I make it like that. So now I'm going to square this out. So now that I've done this, I'm going to come back to my waist. My waist is 30 inches. Divided by 4 is 7.5. Then I'm going to be accounting my dart, which is 8.5. At this point, if you want ease, you can also add, but I'm going to be doing 8.5 inches here. So this is my 8.5 inches. You see, because our waist is not that straight, it has to be curvy at least. So now I'm going to connect this to my hip line. So now, having gotten our waistline and hip line, this is what I have. And now for this length, you can decide to use the same measurement on your length. This is 12.8. You can choose to take it down here. So for me, I'm going to be taking 12 inches, right? I don't want it to be that open too much. So I'm taking out 0.8 inches and I'm going to roll it straight like so. So you see that there's nothing much here, the front shorts. Now I'm going to be cutting this out. But before then, on the waistline here, I'm going to be coming down by half an inch. Okay, this is just to create a slope here. Mind you, it's not bad if you don't observe it as well, but I just want to observe mine. Panel it here on the waistline. So that is basically it on the front. So now I'm going to create the back. I'm going to be adding half an inch here all round. I wouldn't be adding any other so much allowance on the pants. I don't want it to be too bogus. I want it to just be semi-fitted, right? Just tiny space and allowance. So that is why I'm adding this half an inch all around. This is going to account for the sewing allowance. I'm going to cut this main block for now because when I'm done with the back, I can now go ahead to take off the half an inch for the slope. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me get my back first of all, then I can now do that. So I'm supposed to add half an inch here, but because I worked on this part of the paper, I'm going to remember to add, I'm going to state here, add allowance on the side, right? So I don't skip this part because there's no allowance here because I'm working on this edge of the pattern paper, right? So I'm going to be adding allowance on my pattern, right? So I'm going to roll this well. So I'm going to cut it out now. Now for the back, okay, so I'm going to be extending it by 2.5 inches from your previous, please, not from your allowance, okay, from your previous crotch line. Extend it by 2.5 inches. Don't make that mistake. I nearly did that here. So this is from, you're going to start from your main crotch line, not on the allowance. So this is my main crotch line. I extended it by 2.5 inches, okay? And now after I've done that, I'm going to come in here by 1.5 inches. Remember, whatever thing I'm doing is from this previous measurement, not on my allowance now, right? I'm going to measure my waist in total here. What I have here is 8.6 inches. So from here, I'm going to mark 8.6 inches. This is 8.5, this is 8.6, and I'm going to roll it out. So for now, I'm just trying to connect this to this on a straight line, okay? So they are on the same line. So now having done that, let me recap in case you don't understand what I said. So from my original crotch line, not on the allowance, I went back by 1.5 inches, okay? And now I still step down by 1.5 inches. That's the same thing because you're going to cross check your measurement and make sure that they are, this is 8.6. So I make sure that from here it is also 8.6, right? And now having done that, I'm going to go upward by 1.5 inches. You can go as much as 2 inches. This will accommodate your bum. This gives room for your bum at the back. If you try to maintain this, it might not be able to enter you very well. So make sure to account for this, okay? So now I'm going to connect this 1.5 inches to this line here, like so. Like I said, this is for accommodating your bum, okay? So now having done that, I'm going to mark this also so it's on a straight line, okay? Now having done this, I'm going to be lifting my front pattern a little just so I can connect this to this here. Now I'm going to follow this line. So I'm going to go down a little, just a little bit. If it works out with the line you made, fine, but if it does not work out, you can also, your target is to get to this point, right? So that is what you need. If it doesn't intersect on the line, it's okay. So I'm just going to mark it like so. So you can see what I did down there. Right now I have gotten this, so I'm going to place it back like so. Now I can go ahead to cut out this half an inch. Now for the side here, you can decide to panel it back to your waist, or you can just decide to add 1.5 inches all around here and add maybe 1 inches here and then connect it down there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing here. For this place, for my waist, I'm going to add 1.5 inches, so it can account for this 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm gonna connect it back to my waistline like so, right? So now I have accounted for this, they are equal here, right? And then for the hemline, I'm going to decide on whether I'm gonna take 1.5 inches or 1 inch. So for here, I'm gonna take 1 inches and connect it down here. So this is what I have, okay? And I'm going to create a straight line like so. Now for this part, this is 2.5 inches, remember? On the hemline, I'm going to go out by 1 inches, and I'm going to connect this to this like so. Like I said, I'm trying to work on this so I don't have so much allowance, okay? That is why I'm doing this. So for me, I intended to have 2 inches. That is why I split 1 inches here, 1 inches here, so I don't have excess, okay? Now I'm going to connect this on a straight line too, so I can be able to cut it out. So now this is what I have for the back, okay? Now remember, for here this is 2.5 inches. You can decide to just panel it like so, but no, I don't want to panel it like that. I don't want this to be hugged on my skin, right? I still want it to have a little allowance. That is why I did it the way I did it. And now you can still add allowance here on your pattern, or you can choose to add it on your fabric. So now I'm going to go ahead to lift this up so I can cut out the back. You can see how the back is, right? So this is my back. Now I'm going to cut it out. So remember to add allowance. I'm going to write on my pattern to add allowance. Okay, it's either you add allowance on your pattern or you add on your fabric. So you can choose where you want to add yours. So this is what it looks like, okay? Now the next step will definitely be to cut out my fly pockets. Remember to cut this out. And I'll be seeing you on the next video. Make sure to turn on your post notifications. Bye for now. I'm going to be seeing you on the sewing tutorial.